Just when you think you've seen it all in boxing, Paddy Donovan somehow snatches defeat from the jaws of victory. I have no idea how he's ended up losing that fight via DQ. So unlucky, absolutely gutted for him. I thought he dominated the fight from the off. There's an argument Crocker won round 2, but other than that, it was all one-way traffic. I thought the game plan was spot on from Paddy. He absolutely schooled Crocker. He just didn't allow him to get into any kind of rhythm. I thought he showed a good chin when he did get caught. But Crocker did nothing. He was just walking forward with a high guard, barely letting his hands go. When he did, he was looking for that one shot. Paddy could telegraph his punches coming from a mile off. Paddy then cut Crocker in round 3. There was a bit of confusion whether it was from a head clash or whether it was from a punch. The ref deemed it to be from a punch. And Paddy was just getting better and better each round. He was getting more confident. Then in round 6, he got a point taken off for use of the head. Now for me, it did look like an accidental headbutt. He did get warned numerous times during the fight, so it probably was coming, but we know how it is when an orthodox fighter fights a southpaw. You always get clashes of heads, and Crocker was going in with the head as well. I don't think it was intentional from either man, but it does happen, so I did think the point off was a bit harsh. Round 7 was another great round for Paddy, just boxing Lewis's head off, who looked extremely one-dimensional in there, and you really got the feeling that a stoppage was coming for Donovan. And then we get to round 8, and by this point, Crocker's face is a mess. His left eye is completely closed. He's cut. He looks like a defeated man. Paddy then got another point taken off, which I thought was harsh again for use of the head, but for me, none of it was deliberate, so I can see both sides, but he did get warned plenty of times, so I do understand it from the ref as well. And then towards the end of round 8, Paddy eventually drops Crocker, who, to be fair, was extremely tough all night. How the hell he stayed on his feet beforehand, I'll never know. Anyway, Crocker goes down. To be fair, he gets straight back up, but you see his eyes completely blinking, and Marcus McDonnell should have stopped the fight there for me, because Crocker was absolutely finished. He had nothing left. Like I say, he was blind in one eye, and he wasn't winning any second of any round. But nonetheless, Crocker was allowed to continue. There was only about 10 seconds left in the round, and Crocker went for absolute broke. He knew he was finished, so it was like a last hurrah, and he was swinging wildly. He actually caught Donovan a couple of times, who was obviously going for the finish himself. The Belfast fans were going absolutely insane. It was so hard to hear anything. It was incredible to watch live because you just knew something was going to happen at any moment. And Donovan was probably going to knock out Crocker. But like I say, Crocker was letting his hands go and he was having one last shot at trying to catch Donovan with something to turn the tide. Donovan was on the attack and the bell went, and about a second after, Donovan is threw a right hook and dropped Crocker. And you just knew Crocker wasn't going to get up this time. And it was so confusing to know what the ref was going to do, because you knew that a punch had landed after the bell, but at the same time, it was so one-sided. Donovan was on the verge of stopping Crocker. I mean, I personally think if Crocker had made it till the end of that round and had that right hook not landed, I think Billy Nelson would have had to pull out Crocker. He was done. He was finished. And I genuinely don't think that Paddy heard the bell, because if he had, I think he would have pulled his punch. There's no way he would have risked getting disqualified when he was on the verge of winning. This was the most one-sided fight you will ever see, and you knew a stoppage was coming in the next round, if not at the end of this round, from either the ref or Billy Nelson or the doctor, or Crocker just quit him because the fight was over. He was done. There was no way he was going to get back in this fight, and then the ref disqualifies Paddy Donovan, and I just could not believe what I was seeing. I mean, it was heartbreaking to see Paddy. He was devastated. He was in tears. So was I, to be honest. I was waiting on Paddy Donovan to win via KO for 500 quid. So cheers for that, Marcus. Just break everyone's heart, why don't you? No worries. And I really do think that Marcus had a poor night at the office. I know Paddy was maybe a bit reckless at times, and I think with a bit more experience, he would have been a bit more calculated when he was using his head. Again, I don't think it was intentional. They were both at it. But nonetheless, I mean, come on. To disqualify him for that when he was on the verge of stopping Crocker, I think is an absolute disgrace. I think what he should have done was, okay, take another 2 points off Paddy and then give Crocker 5 minutes to recover. And if Crocker can't continue, Paddy wins the fight via TKO or KO, whatever you want to do. But to disqualify him, I just think is so harsh. And he got robbed there for me, Paddy Donovan. I said before that if it goes to the cards, he might get robbed in Belfast. He didn't get robbed by the judges, but he definitely got robbed by the ref. The best man 100% lost that. It was honestly bullshit. And I'd say more often than not, when you watch a fight, one fighter will hit the other after the bell. And I'd say 99 times out of 100, it is unintentional, because why would you do that? I think at the end of the day, sometimes they just don't hear the bell. Sometimes they're just in their flow. And also, at the end of the round, the ref is supposed to be there to break up the action when the bell sounds. Marcus McDonald was at the bar getting a pint and a hot dog at the end of round 8. He was honestly awful in there. I never want to see that hamster with a bow tie on ever again. He is useless. Get him out of boxing. Him, Howard Foster, Steve Gray. Anytime you see them refereeing or judging, you just know they're going to do something that everyone else disagrees with. So why do they always have to be different and make it all about them? The standard of officiating with the British Boxing Board of Control officials is a disgrace. But yeah, just absolutely devastated for Paddy. I mean, they said after they're going to appeal the decision. I mean, the outcome's not going to get changed because unfortunately he did land one after the bell. Again, I mean, just absolute bullshit to disqualify him. But there will always be that argument there that, well, yeah, but in the rules that can get you disqualified. But how often do you actually see a fighter get disqualified for that? So extremely harsh on Paddy. But yeah, insanely, Lewis Crocker is now mandatory to fight for Jerome Boutennis's IBF belt, but the IBF have to order an immediate rematch, and I think they will. They did with Froch and Groves after that horrendous stoppage from Howard Foster. So I think they'll do the same here because they can't leave it like that. And for Lewis Crocker, he can't fight for a world title next. I mean, he just got absolutely schooled, battered and beat up by Paddy Donovan. He shouldn't be anywhere near Jerome Boutennis or Stanionis. And I did feel for Crocker in there after because you could see he was a bit embarrassed to kind of get given the win when he knew he lost that fight. He knew he got battered from pillar to post and he's going to want to put that right. I do think he can perform better than that, but just devastated for Paddy. Absolutely gutted for him. I mean, he's came into the Lion's Den, got booed in, performed like that and somehow ended up losing. He did make mistakes in there and he does need to be more careful about throwing punches after the bell and using the head. But he should never have been disqualified. He has been absolutely shafted there. But yeah, there we have it, guys. Never a dull moment in the world of boxing, eh? The big drama show just absolutely loves controversy. Let me know your thoughts as always. Subscribe if you're new. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. And I will catch you all on the next one.